Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi barakatuh. Lil-Ikhwani wa Hawati fi din wa salamu ala mani taba huda lil-Ikhwani wa Hawati fi Afrika wa America wa Europa wa kulli makan. Anjarama. This is to my Fulani brothers and sisters. And today, this is a short notice, but it's been on my mind, and I wanted to discuss this with my Fulani brothers and sisters, especially for the men. The current affairs for the Fulani community in Africa, in particular West Africa, is very troublesome. We are now involved in conflicts that perhaps we should not be involved in. We Muslims have to follow the Sharia of Allah Ta'ala. We cannot follow anything other than that. And we cannot make up our own rules and laws, irrespective of what the enemy has done to us. We have no right under the Sharia of Allah to go after the enemy and use barbaric ways and means to get what we want. In a time of war, we have strategy that we use according to the Sharia and according to the Sunnah, alayhi salatu wasalam. But we have vacated that. So my brothers and sisters who are sitting in West Africa today, our Fulani brothers in particular, stay away from all extremist groups because they may lead you to the hellfire. We're not trying to say that our brothers who involved in the conflicts of West Africa are kuffar. They're not kuffar. They're Muslims. They are brothers. No doubt about that. But they have chosen a path that is wrong. And they started off with good means, but now are doing other things that are wrong. Our Prophet ﷺ didn't authorize us to join groups that kidnap, that raid and pillage and kill innocent persons, Muslims or the kuffar. We're not authorized to do this. In a strategy of war, of course, we are authorized to kill if we are being attacked, even by those civilians. But in situations that's happening in the Sahel today, our brothers have erred because they are killing others, raiding their villages and whatnot to achieve their end. No one here is defending the governments in West Africa who have, they themselves have strayed. But you have two wrongs here, brothers and sisters. We have two wrongs here. They don't make a right. Our brothers in the Fulani community who have joined many of these groups, and some of these groups are mainly Fulani, no doubt about that. And they have been wronged. Injustice has incurred on them. But the method that they have taken to achieve justice is now criminal. It's not Islamic, it's now criminal. Our Prophet ﷺ had a word for this. He called them muharaba. If anybody looks up this word in Arabic, muharaba, this is the people who rob, steal, waylay people, kidnap. And if you understand the hudud, the law, the punishment for these type of individuals, our Prophet ﷺ gave us an example of cutting off one side of the hand, the other side of the foot, and they to be thrown over a cliff and heights. This is for those who do what some of our brothers are doing today. Getting caravans, going after villages who are in remote areas, robbing them, taking their women, taking their children, forcing our young men to join their groups. This is not approved, brothers and sisters. So our brothers who are in the Fulani community, you stay away from these groups. Follow the Sharia Allah Ta'ala. Yes, we understand you've been wrong, but every black person everywhere has been wronged, even in the United States, even in Europe, where all of us have been wronged. Some have taken injustice from other Fulani, from other Hausa, from Igbo, from many different, Mende, from Mandinka, even Amazigh and Tuareg. They have taken injustice. But we have to be patient, brothers and sisters, in these matters. And it's not the time right now to authorize the slaying of innocent individuals. Now, we're not talking about the kuffar who come into our lands and go after our brothers. You have a right because they don't belong here. This is not their land. This is Africa. This is ours. They don't belong in this conflict. We're not talking about them. You do what you have to do to rid them from the land, because we have an eternal beef among Africans, not among the Tubab in Europe, not among the Tubab in America. We have our own eternal beef with our own brothers all through West Africa. So the Tubab who comes into the country and comes in to go after the Fulani community, you do what you have to do to rid them from your lands and to protect yourself. But again, brothers and sisters, we have no right as Muslims to do what we're doing, we see now in the Sahel region, against other Africans. Now, yes, I understand some of our African groups, some of our African brothers and sisters live in remote villages, are taking in the Tubab, taking in the government forces. But we as Muslims have to understand why do they do what they did. We just can't go kill them because they could be under duress. The French could have came in there. The Americans could have came in there and told them, if you don't do this, you don't take us in, you don't feed us, you don't hide us, this is what we'll do to you in your village. So they have no other choice when they're holding a gun at our children, our wives. But we as Fulani people have no right to come into that village now, even though we know that these brothers are harboring the Tubab armies. And then we kill our African brothers, not understanding their circumstances. This is wrong, brothers and sisters. This is criminal. We have now become mujahideen. Now we are mujrimeen, which means criminal. Okay, in the Quran, it means a harsh criminal, a fasiq, a person who violates the law of Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and the law of our Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. So my brothers and sisters, this is a short reminder here to tell our Fulani community to stick by the Sharia. You can go no wrong. Stick by the Sunnah of a Nabi, alayhi salatu wasalam. You can go no wrong. When someone comes calling to you when you have injustice and they ask you to join a group, you check that group out first. Yes, I understand. That group may come to you and say, hey, look, Yahya, you have no money. Why don't you join us? We'll pay you a salary. And it may look good on the surface. But you got to remember something about Islam and about the Sharia. We have laws talking about such things. You look at Surah 5, Ma'idah, and you got many laws in there about the Sharia Allah Ta'ala, Hakamiyah, Islamiyah. The governance, Islamic governance is there in that particular surah. There's in other surahs too, but this in particular is a surah where you talk about governance and how we're supposed to judge. You get familiar with that and master that particular surah. You won't join these groups. And you remember what our Prophet ﷺ said, that there will be 73 Islamic groups that will come and appear. 72 of them will be wayward. They will not be following his sunnah. Only one will be following his sunnah. So you have to ask the question, brothers and sisters. Our brothers who are in the Sahel and these groups, are they following the sunnah of our Prophet ﷺ? Are they following the Sharia Allah? You must decide that yourself who living in West Africa. You must ask that question. Are they following this? If you join them, are you following the Sunnah of our Prophet Islam or the Sharia Allah? You have to answer that question for yourself. So this is something that's been eating away at me for a while. I decided to take this issue up and discuss it with you. And I'm hoping that I raise these issues and that you have something in your heart to think about this issue. Now, last thing, and I'll close here, my brothers and sisters. We can criticize each other, but we must come up with the proof. And the proof is not from the Tubab government. The proof is not coming from democracy. It's not coming from communist ways and means or Taoism or any other ism. Our proofs come from the Quran and the Sunnah. That's it. So when I criticize, I back it up with the Sharia Allah, and I back it up with the Sunnah of Nabi, alayhi salatu wasalam. That's how I back that up. I don't back it up using American ways and means. I don't back it up by using French ways and means or the Chinese or any other group. I use only the Sharia Allah and the Sunnah of our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And I hope and pray that our Fulani community who are involved in this come back to the right way. Now, last thing, and I will close. I know we understand the government forces a lot of times in West Africa are just as ruthless as the Tubab, and sometimes even more ruthless. You have a right to defend yourself. No one is saying you cannot defend yourself. When people come to your village to manhandle your children and your wife and your sons and your Qabil, your village, you have the right to protect it. You have a right to protect your property, even against another Muslim. But again, you have to ask the question, how do you protect it? If there's 1,000 people from the government that are attacking you, you have to find ways and means to thwart them, but you can't take them on. So you have to find other ways, and you may be outmatched. And you have to understand, again, something about this. You would be martyred if you did defend your wife and your children. They come busting through that door, 10, 20, 30 of these guys come in there to abuse your wife and your children and so forth and so on. You have the right to protect yourself against anybody, even another Muslim. Especially when that force is supposed to be the police, who we're supposed to trust and we're supposed to give our allegiance to. Allegiance meaning that we obey them, but not when they're doing this. And you have a right to protect yourself. So my brothers and sisters in the Fulani community, I hope that I struck a nerve with you today and that you will ponder my words and you will listen to what I had to say and you will think about this. This is Yahya Shabaka. And if you like what I've said or you didn't like or you have some comments, please write me. I entertain all comments. If you have something to say and you want to bring some proofs, please bring the proofs, no problem. You can write in Arabic. I understand that very well, no problem. Or if you want to write in English, of course I speak English and whatnot. But even if you want to even write it in Hausa, I do understand Hausa as well. So I'm still trying to learn the Fulani language, Pular, and that's going to be probably a while. But hopefully with Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's help, I will learn that and where I can converse and write in my native language because I'm Fulani and I'm proud of that. And I will not take a back seat to anybody. I'm a proud man who's Fulani, whose ancestors are Fulani as well. And I'm very proud of that fact. So I'm talking in behalf and defense of and also urging the Fulani community to please ponder my words. And I will leave you with that. Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi barakatuh.